may proceed.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable members, I wish to introduce a delegation from the Interim Committee of the Namibian Parliamentary Women Caucus who are seated in the Speaker's Gallery. The delegation comprises of the following: the Honorable Emilia Nuyoma Amupewa, who is the chairperson, the Honorable Elma Dieda, who is a member, the Honorable Evelyn Nawases Tayayele, who is also a member, and Ms. Frankhilda Edijala, who is the parliamentary clerk. Honorable members, the delegation is in the country for a study visit to engage with institutions charged with implementation of the gender-related programs, as well as to share experiences on establishment and operations of a functional parliamentary women caucuses. The delegation has extensively engaged with state organs as well as with the Kenya Women Parliamentary Association, KEWOPA. Honorable members, on behalf of the National Assembly, I wish the delegation to the National Assembly, I wish the delegation success during their remainder of their stay in the country. Thank you, honorable members.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Leader of Majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to lay on the table of the House today, Thursday, February 23rd, 2023, the following papers. Legal notice number 2 of 2023 relating to energy revocation regulations 2023 from the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum. 2, legal notice number 3 of 2023 relating to the petroleum importation regulations 2023 from the Ministry of Energy and Petroleum. 3, update on funding of National Government Fund, NGCDF, from the National Treasury and Economic Planning. 5, the quarterly report covering the period from 1st October 2022 to 31st December 2022 from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. 5, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund in respect of the following constituencies for the year ended 30th June 2021 and the certificates therein. 1, Kilgoris. 2, Maragua. 3, Navakholo. 4, Runyenjes. 5, Buri. 6, Ndia. 7, Webuye West. 8, Mumias West. 9, Kabuchai. 10, Teso South. 11, Mukurweini. 12, Mount Elgon. 13, Cherangani. 14, Butula. 15, Malava. And finally, Tigania West. 6, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements in respect of the following institutions for the year ended 30th June 2021 and the certificates therein. A, Kenya National Convention Bureau. B, University of Eldoret. C, Mosorio Teachers Training College. D, Moi University. E, Lance Limited. And finally, Honorable Speaker, approval under Article 223 of the Constitution in the 2022-2023 supplementary estimates, 1, from the National Treasury and Economic Planning. This, Honorable Speaker, is to be referred to the Budget and Appropriations Committee, the note therein. And if you allow, Honorable Speaker, there are 2 papers laid that I would want to draw members of Parliament to the attention of those 2 papers. These being the last one, the approvals of under Article 223 of the Constitution in the supplementary estimates. Honorable members, if members will go through that, they will see There are two schedules. One is a schedule, the overall schedule of all the payments done under Article 223 of the Constitution for the financial year 2022-2023, the current financial year, and what has already gone through the Budget and Appropriations Committee. They have gone through, and there's a schedule of what is approved by the Budget and Appropriations Committee, and I believe when they do table their report, you should be able to do, and since that schedule will be available after being tabled, and upon, Honorable Speaker, if you can protect me from the Honorable KJ, and tell him he's a seasoned member of Parliament. He cannot be shouting from behind all the time.
Honorable KJ, I hope you stand corrected.
Honorable Speaker, you know he's my good neighbor, but if you shout from behind, you interrupt the thought process of the person speaking. And we have beseeched ourselves as the older members to be a good example to those who are new in the House, and more so to our students who are in the Speaker's gallery and others, that they know this is a house where people conduct business with some decorum. Honorable Speaker, I was saying, if and when the Budget and Appropriations Committee table their supplementary estimates report, these schedules are part of that report, and members will be able to interact with what has been the overall payments done under Article 223 of the Constitution, what has been approved by the Budget and Appropriations Committee, and what the Budget and Appropriations Committee has rejected. Therefore, once we are past that, Honorable Speaker, it will be interesting, and I would want to draw the attention, especially of the relevant departmental committees and oversight committees of this House, to draw particular reference to what has been recommended to this House by the Budget and Appropriations Committee for rejection. Honorable Speaker, I say that as a former chair of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, and I will tell you, Honorable Speaker, in 2018, the Budget and Appropriations Committee that I chaired occasioned the rejection of the Ruaraka land payment of 1.5 billion shillings. And automatically, such a rejection means then it becomes an audit issue. And therefore, it will be interesting, Honorable Speaker, for members to note the rejections proposed by the Budget and Appropriations Committee, because they have a huge bearing on the work of oversight committees of this House and some of the departmental committees, and I want to challenge them that they take up that challenge and the issues that will be raised by the Budget and Appropriations Committee. Honorable Speaker, the other paper I wanted to draw members' attention to is the third paper that I have laid, an update on funding of NGCDF from the National Treasury and Economic Planning. Honorable Speaker, because I have seen in our WhatsApp groups a spirited conversation elicited by the member for Embakasi East, who is also a member of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, and it's good because I see the chair NGCDF walking in. And I want to ask him to appraise himself with the paper that has been laid, to be able to appraise members on all the disbursements that have been done by the National Treasury as at now. Because up to and including this morning, the National Treasury has disbursed funds to the NGCDF board, and therefore the NGCDF board should then, through the committee, be embarking on disbursement to the constituencies. And I want to believe the National Treasury is also working on the same towards the disbursement of GAF, in line with what the National Treasury promised at the beginning of this month. And indeed, I have confirmation, Honorable Speaker, from the Cabinet Secretary, National Treasury, that up to now, so far, this month, after the Mombasa meeting, they have so far disbursed 6 billion shillings in line, and being the third week of the month, I think they are up to date, and I want to encourage them to continue so. And the NGCDF board, together with our committee, to ensure that there is expediency in the disbursement to the constituencies, so that our constituents are able to enjoy the services that they have been missing. With that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay all these papers, and Honorable Speaker, as I mentioned, Article 223 of the Constitution, Article 223 of the Constitution is usually the genesis of mega corruption in this country. And if as a house that is charged with the mandate to oversight government, we have to exercise our authority. And that's why I challenge our oversight committees and the relevant departmental committees. Some of the payments made under Article 223, and as is customary in this country, in the dying hours of any regime or towards every election, there is usually a sprint and a looting spree of government coffers. And the last election was no exception. The Ruaraka land scandal happened on the verge of the 2017 elections. Kenyans will be shocked by the level of impunity and theft. You know, Honorable Speaker, I see the member for Ruaraka telling me to go slow on Ruaraka, and I know he knows I don't mean his constituents. I mean the Ruaraka land school scandal that happened on the verge of the last elections in 2017. And I want to tell members that the last elections, 2022, was no exception. If there was theft in the on the verge of the 2017 elections, on the Ruaraka land scandal, that was foreplay. Real theft, real looting happened on the verge of the 2022 elections. You will be shocked that even on the night Kenyans were voting, when people are counting votes, there are people who are counting billions that they had looted from government coffers. And Honorable Speaker, I've taken time because I was just laying these papers, because these are now public documents. Kenyans, I do not need to name them here. They shall be named. They shall be named. And you know them. You know them. Kenyans know them. Honorable Speaker, I didn't have the latitude to name them here, but in due course, Honorable Speaker, if, and I want to say if, our oversight committees do not take up this matter to end this culture of impunity, there is nothing that will stop the current government on the verge of the 2027 or 2032 elections from looting public coffers with impunity. We must be the house that will stop looting of public resources towards an election. And we must do it. And I said, if our oversight committees and our departmental committees don't take up this matter, rest assured, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker, yours faithfully, the leader of majority, on behalf of the people of Kikuyu and on behalf of the people of Kenya, I will ensure I spare no energy to expose those who looted this country on the verge of the 2022 elections with an abandoned impunity. I beg to lay, Honorable Speaker. Ulizeni babu anawajua.
Next order.
Sema majonzi leta bongezi. Babu knows them.
Next order. Notices. Notice of motion.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
The Honorable Beatrice Elachi, member for Dagoretti North. You have a notice of motion.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and you look elegant. We want to thank you for really making us proud as women. Madam Speaker, that aware that the Export Processing Zone, EPZ, authority in Kenya was established in 1990 to promote and facilitate export-oriented investment programs and create incentives for export-oriented production in areas designated as export processing zones. Further that aware, the authority is charged with the responsibility of regulating and administering approved activities within the export processing zone to ensure compliance, among others, noting that the program anchors on Kenya's Vision 2030, the country's economic blueprint with regard to becoming an industrialized and upper middle income country, further noting that EPZ provides an attractive investment opportunity for export-oriented business ventures in the country, acknowledging that the program is a source of direct and indirect employment to more than 60,000 Kenyans, concerned that currently the program is facing a myriad of challenges, including inadequate funding, prohibitive cost of accessing business loans, high cost of production, shrinking export market due to effect of the COVID-19 pandemic, inadequate supplies of raw materials, water and power for agro-processing companies, among others. Further concerned that there is need to revamp the said program to improve its performance through increased funding to aid, for instance, the setting up of excellence centers in some parts of the country, expediting and negotiations of market access, especially to the East African community, including trade negotiations between Kenya and other countries on diversification of products eligible under the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, employee training and retention provision of reliable supply of raw materials of agro-processing companies, improvement of infrastructure to enhance steady supply of water and power, and provision of affordable access to credit facilities, among others. This House resolves that the national government, through the Ministry of Trade, Investment and Industry, develops a policy whose core objective will be to be, among others, address the challenges currently faced by the EPZ, with specific focus on implementing EPZ programs to enhance performance and enable retention of investors across the country, to enhance economic sustainability and allow companies to pursue businesses locally through the 20% waiver to enable them earn a living. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Lachi. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
The Honorable Julius Taitumu, MP, member for Igembe North. You have a statement.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Statement on demise of the former Member of Parliament for Igembe North constituency, on Toidan Tomidiaru. Honorable Speaker, I arise pursuant to standing order number 259D with profound sorrow to report to this House the untimely passing on of the former Member of Parliament for Igembe North constituency, on Toidan Tomidiaru, on Monday 13th February 2023. Honorable Speaker, the late On Toidan Tomidiaru was born on 15th May 1955 in Nado sublocation, Mutuate sub-county, Igembe North constituency. He underwent primary education at Nado Primary School, intermediate education at Kiriana Primary School, O levels at Boreru High School, and A level at Smolatewa High School in Mombasa, where he completed in 1975. Immediately thereafter, his A levels in 1976, he joined the Central Bank of Kenya at the entry level. His stellar performance saw him rise through the ranks to become the Director, National Debt, a position he held until his retirement in 2002. During his illustrious career, he served as the chair of the Kenyan Bankers Association for 13 years and the task force that reviewed the cooperative laws that came up with the establishment of the Circle Societies Regulatory Authority, SASRA. The late Hon. Tomidiaru undertook financial standards, diploma and banking courses at the London Institute of Bankers and Association of German Banks, and Ambassador of Science in Banking and Finance, and later pursued a master's degree in Business Administration Entrepreneurship option from Kenyatta University in 2008. Honorable Speaker, the late Hon. Tomidiaru served diligently in the 10th Parliament from 2007 to 2013 when he was elected as the member for Igembe North constituency. The late member rigorously articulated issues of concern to the people of Igembe North through parliamentary debates and questions. Through the Constituency Development Fund, he initiated various development projects in the constituency, particularly in the education sector, where he pioneered establishment of many day secondary schools, thus enhancing access to education. He was an active member of the Departmental Committee on Finance, where he was resourceful on various matters of finance and economy. He was also a member of several ad hoc committees, particularly the Select Committee on Depreciation of the Kenyan shilling that was constituted to investigate the causes of the drastic and distinct decline of the Kenyan shilling against the foreign currencies and make recommendations on the way forward. At the community level, the late member was the chairperson of the Igembe Development Organization, IDO, through which he mobilized resources for the community development. In him, Igembe North has lost a people-centered leader and a trailblazer for development initiatives. Honorable Speaker, on my own behalf and that of my family and the people of Igembe North constituency, I wish to condole with the family of the late Hon. Tomidiaru, all his relatives and friends, the people of Igembe North and the people of Kenya, for the loss of a distinguished public servant and a leader. Honorable Speaker, with your indulgence, may I request that we all stand to observe a minute of silence in honor of our departed colleague. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
We will also stand for you when the time comes.
May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I think I'll exercise my discretion and allow a few members to give their condolences. The Honorable Member for Igembe South, Honorable Paul Mwirigi.
Asante sana, Bi Speaker. Kwa niaba ya wananchi wa Igembe Kusini na kwa niaba ya familia yangu, ningependa kutoa rambirambi kwa familia ya Mheshimiwa Tomidiaru, Madam Speaker. Bi Speaker, Mheshimiwa Tomidiaru niliweza kujuana naye sana wakati ambapo nilichaguliwa kipindi cha kwanza, na akanionyesha vile ambavyo nafaa kufanya hapa ili nisiye nikafukuzwa kazi, na niliweza kufuatilia yale mpaka siku hii ya leo, Bi Speaker, nikaweza kuchaguliwa mara ya pili. Kwa hivyo naombea familia hii, Mungu aendelee kuizingira na damu yake ya mwana wake, na Mungu aendelee kuikuza eneo bunge hili la Igembe North, na tunaomba roho yake ama tunamuomba Mungu aweke roho yake mahali pema anapoweka patakatifu wake. Amen.
Member for Emuhaya, the Honorable Mwalimu Omboko Milema. What's your point of order?
Thank you, and thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, for this chance. You know, this is a house of order, and I have seen this continuously occur, that when a member is speaking, other members stand between the member and the speaker, like what has just happened. And we had even the earlier case when we had that statement. I think we should speak on that so that we have that order being restored. Thank you.
The Honorable Didi Nyoro and Honorable KJ, I think Mwalimu Mheshimiwa Omboko Milema is referring to yourselves. They have acted. I'll give an opportunity to the Honorable George Murugara.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, allow me also to convey my condolences on my own behalf and on behalf of the people of Tharaka, who are neighbors of the people of Igembe, both Igembe South, Igembe Central, and Igembe North. Toithian Tomithiaru Mheshimiwa was an honorable member of this house, and he served his own people of Igembe North with distinction. It has been narrated to us exactly what he did, and as for me, I came to know him when he was actually the chairman of the Kenya Bankers Association. Toithian Tomithiaru was an astute banker, a financier, and a person who was extremely knowledgeable in money matters. His contribution in the financial sector in this country is immeasurable. And therefore, on top of the great things he did for the people of Igembe North, he also contributed immensely to the development of our financial sector in the country. With those remarks, may his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
The Honorable Member, lastly, the Honorable Member for Lugari, Nabwera, Nabi. Looks like he's not present. Then I'll give the opportunity. Oh, he's been found?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I want to accord with all the members that have stood here today to send messages about our fellow Kenyan. Madam Speaker, as members of this House, we are here today because those who came before us had humane feeling about each other, and therefore, Madam Speaker, on behalf of the people of Lugari and on my own behalf, I stand here in sympathy of the families of our departed colleague. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Okay, the next statement is by the Honorable Captain Rueda Obo, member for Lamu East.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Madam Speaker. Request for a statement regarding power outages in Kwanza Ward in Lamu East constituency. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44-2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Energy regarding power outages in Kwanza Ward in Lamu East constituency. Honorable Speaker, the residents of Kwanza Ward in Lamu East constituency have been experiencing periodic power outages that last for 3 days to 7 days for the last 6 months. The periodic power outages are a major concern for the local community. Regrettably, lack of reliable electricity has caused significant disruption in household businesses, particularly tuna fishermen and traders who have lost a lot of stock due to failure of storage facilities such as coolers and fridges. The lack of electricity has also adversely affected service delivery to residents of Kwanza Sub-County Hospital, at Kwanza Sub-County Hospital. Consequently, the existence of non-functioning generator at the said Sub-County Hospital has put the lives of patients at risk in the event of power blackout during operation session. However, learning institutions in the area have also been forced to rely on generators for their operation. Honorable Speaker, it is in this regard, this background, that I seek a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Energy on the following. 1. Could the chairperson explain the measure that the government has put in place to ensure that the residents of Kwanza Ward have access to reliable electricity? 2. Could the chairperson explain whether the government has a plan to compensate tuna fishermen and traders in the said ward following massive losses of produce incurred especially during harvesting season? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Captain Rueda. I now direct that your statement be referred to the Departmental Committee on Energy. And now I call upon the Honorable Doris Doya to make her statement.
Request for statement on unfair conviction of Ms. Emily Kereba, a Kenyan national in South Sudan. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44, Cap 2, I wish to request for a statement from the chairperson of Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Affairs regarding the circumstances surrounding the conviction of one Ms. Emily Kerubo Nyakwera in the Republic of South Sudan. Honorable Speaker, on and about 17th January 2022, Ms. Emily Kerubo Nyakwera, a Kenyan national of ID number 32690439, and a kindergarten teacher by profession, was taken to the Republic of South Sudan by a South Sudanese educationist who runs Mary British International School. It is reported that while in a line of duty, which included changing diapers for small children, Teacher Kerubo reported to the school management that a school in a class was wearing unpermitted chain. Consequently, the school requested the pupil's mother to remove the chain, which she reluctantly did after withholding the child from attending classes for about 2 weeks. When the child resumed classes, the mother barred teachers from changing her child's diapers in the school. Honorable Speaker, 2 days later, the child's mother reported to the school that Teacher Kerubo had molested the child, citing rashes and bruises around the girl's private parts. Teacher Kerubo was arrested and held in police custody pending investigations. The medical report indicated that whereas there were some bruises around the minor's private parts, there was no evidence of molestation whatsoever, and hence the small bruises would have been attributed to prolonged wearing of diapers. Despite the fact that the Teacher Kerubo was vindicated by the medical reports, the witness testimonies, she was still under unclear circumstances charged and convicted on 13th October 2022 to a 5-year imprisonment and a fine of 700,000 Sudanese pounds, equivalent to $1,200. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backup that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Departmental Committee on Defense, Intelligence, and Foreign Affairs. In the statement, the chairperson should provide the following. 1. Details of the circumstances under which Ms. Emily Kerubo Nyakwera was convicted in the Republic of South Sudan, without evidence contrary to the principles of rule of law and natural justice. 2, the interventions that the ministry intends to make in order to ensure that justice is done for Ms. Emily Kerubo Nyakwera. 3, the measures that the government has put in place to safeguard the welfare and rights of Kenyans working in foreign countries, especially those in the Republic of South Sudan. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Member for Taita Taveta, Honorable Haika Mzigi, you have a point of order? Yes. Okay.
Madam Speaker, my point of order is in regard to the question that has been made by one Honorable Doris Ndonya relating to the welfare of Kenyan who is working in South Africa and who has South Sudan, and who has been wrongly convicted. Indeed, the third prayer made by Honorable Member is for the measure that the government has put in place to protect the welfare and rights of Kenyans working in foreign countries, especially those in the Republic of South Sudan. This subject, Madam Speaker, falls within the mandates of the committee I chair, the Diaspora Affairs and Migrant Workers Committee. I therefore seek your guidance, Madam Speaker, on whether the statement ought to be directed to Defense, Intelligence and Foreign Relations or the Diaspora Affairs and Migrant Workers Committee. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
I think we'll say that that is duly noted. The matter shall be referred to the liaison committee to be able to decide which committee it's supposed to be domiciled in before it's marked to the correct committee or the one that has been requested. Thank you. At this stage, I would like to recognize the presence of the following schools in the public gallery: Mutulu Secondary School in Kitui West, from Kitui West constituency, Kitui County. Second, I would like to recognize the presence of Ndo Secondary School from Booni constituency in Makwiny County. I also wish to recognize the presence of Moi Boys Academy from Baringo North constituency, Baringo County, and I'm told specifically Kabartonjo. I also wish to recognize the presence in the Speaker's Gallery of Mutembei Girls School from Mara constituency, Tharaka Nithi County. Honorable Haika Mzigi, member for Taita Taveta, your statement.
Asante Bi Speaker kwa kunipatia fursa hii kwa mara nyingine tena. Na nimesimama kwa kauli ya mjibu wa kanuni ya 44(2) cha kuhusu mujibu wa viongozi kuvaa na kutangaza mavazi na sanaa ya Kiafrika. Mheshimiwa Bi Speaker, kwa mjibu wa kanuni hii, ningependa kutoa kauli kuhusu wito wa viongozi kuvalia na kutangaza mavazi na sanaa ya Kiafrika. Mheshimiwa Speaker, ona wabunge wa kike wanavyong'aa kwa mavazi na nakshi hizi za Kiafrika. Hili ni dhihirisho. Asante sana, ndo hao mnawaona kina mama hai. Kina mama hai. Asante sana. Hili ni dhihirisho kuwa ipo haja bunge na Kenya kutambua mavazi na mitindo yetu ya Kiafrika. Na Ndio, nitamtambua Tandaza pia. Mheshimiwa Tandaza amevalia vazi la Kiafrika. Asante, niruhusu niendelee. Bila shaka hatua hii inaafika hadhi, jukumu, sura na sifa ya bunge la Kenya. Siku zote jukumu la viongozi ni kupeperusha upekee wa nchi na jamii zao. Kama kielelezo, nimeng'aria vazi nililoshonewa na fundi wangu kule Taita Taveta. Bila shaka ningeweza kuvaa Uturuki, Uchina, Italia na mitindo kadha ya ng'ambo. Lakini viwanda vya Kenya kama Rivertex, Spinnet Limited na Thika Cloth Mill vitapata riziki yao wapi iwapo viongozi hatutachukua hatua ya kwanza? Kwa juma moja lijalo, kuanzia siku 3 zilizopita, wabunge wa kike katika jumba hili na seneti watavaa mavazi na mitindo ya Kiafrika. Lengo la hamasa hii ni kutangaza mavazi na utamaduni wetu kitaifa na kimataifa. Tunalenga kuinua ufundi wetu na kuboresha mapato ya wanamitindo wetu pamoja na Wakenya wanaofanya kazi katika viwanda vya nguo. Ni sharti tuinue soko la wasanifu na wasanii wetu wa Kenya na Afrika kupitia mavazi, fasihi, teknolojia na sanaa za hapa nyumbani. Mheshimiwa Spika, nimekuwepo bungeni humu kwa kipindi kirefu sasa. Bila shaka nafahamu kuwa kanuni za Spika zinabainisha wabunge wa kiume mavazi kama suti, tai, viatu, na kwa hekima yake kanuni za Spika zimetuachia fursa ya kuwa wabunifu katika mavazi ili kuwakisi utamaduni na mahitaji ya bunge na Wakenya. Mavazi kama wanayovaa kaka zangu wa bunge yanahimiza na kuboresha soko la mataifa ya nje ya Afrika. Mavazi ni kitambulisho na sifa ya kila jamii. Mwafrika ni nini kama si chakula, mavazi na lugha zake? Mwandishi Shaban bin Robert alisema, titi la mama ni litamu hata kama ni la kelb. Huu ni utamaduni wetu, ndio titi la mama yetu. Istoshe, ujasirimali wa biashara ndogo ndogo kama ya mavazi kuchangia mapato yetu na utalii. Sanaa hii hubuni ni ajira, kipato kwa watu wetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, nikimaliza, tunaomba utuongoze kuungana na wenzetu katika bunge la Ghana, la Afrika Kusini, la Nigeria, miongoni mwa mwengine. Wenzetu hao wameshakoleza desturi na itikadi ya kuvaa mavazi ya Kiafrika katika bunge na mikutano ya kitaifa. Mwisho, nahamasisha Wakenya kujivunia mavazi na mitindo ya Kiafrika. Tujiunge na mjadala huu unaoendelea katika mitandao ya kijamii. Mheshimiwa Spika, na kusihi uruhusu waheshimiwa wabunge kutoa na kunakili kauli zao kuhusu swala hili. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika, na asante kwa sababu hata wewe umevaliwa vazi la Kiafrika na unapendeza sana. Asante Mheshimiwa.
Haya, ningependa kupatia wabunge wachache waweze kuchangia hii kauli la mbunge wa Taita Taveta. Kwa sasa nitapatia nafasi Mheshimiwa Ruth Odinga, mbunge wa Kisumu. Haya, nitampa nafasi Bi Fatuma Full Network.
Shukran Bi Speaker. Kwanza kabisa na washukuru waume wetu, wametushangilia wiki nzima. Na mnaonekana kwenye ma-TV, mjichunge nyumbani. Kabisa mavazi ya Kiafrika ni kitamaduni kitamu, ni cha heshima sana. Na hata kwa dini, madhehebu tofauti tofauti, mavazi haya yanapendeza. Tukiangazia kabisa, mishono hizi tunazozivaa kwa wiki hii yameshonwa na mafundi ambao ni wamama wa hapa nyumbani Kenya, na zaidi ni wamama walioko viungo vya chini. Ni wamama ambaye sio designer wa hali ya juu. Kama yangu limeshonwa tu hapa Nairobi, hapa River Road, na mama mmoja, na ni bei ya chini. Lakini ujue, unapomuinua mama mmoja, unainua uchumi ya nchi. Kwa hivyo nawaambia wamama tuendelee kuvaa hii mavazi ya Kiafrika, na naomba pia kama ingewezekana mkubalie nao waume wetu pia ambaye ni mandugu zetu pia wavae vitenge vya kisuti ili waje naye hapa. Wasio wanavaa tu ya kizungu. Hatufanyi kwa sababu tunajiinua, lakini tunainua wamama walioko chini. Kwa hivyo fanyeni kwa niaba ya kuhimiza wamama na mafundi ambao ni wamama wa kiwango cha chini, na mjue bei itakuwa chini, na pengine itasaidia hii uchumi ya hii nchi, mambo ya kuombaomba, na hiyo pesa kidogo ambayo tunayo tukiwasaidia hao mafundi wetu, uchumi yetu itainuka. Naomba wamama wote kwa hii nyumba na wazee waliopo, leo utoe kwa mfuko wako hela, umpe mke wako hela aende anunue kitenge. Na waume na waomba kwa haya museme ndio nitafanya hivyo. Mtafanya hivyo? Asanteni sana.
Haya, nitampatia nafasi hii kwa mbunge wa Embakasi East, Honorable Babu Owino.
Asante sana Bi Speaker. Mi leo hii nina furaha mpwekwe kuona wamama wetu waking'aa, wanametameta kama nyota. Mheshimiwa Mili, niko na box ambayo ni kitenge.
Let's allow Honorable Millie Odhiambo to give her...
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Madam Speaker, first of all, I want to raise concern that a member next to me is harassing me that I must speak in Kiswahili. There is no relation between wearing kitenge and Kiswahili. But I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, because I'm smartly dressed na Kiswahili si mdomo changu, and I'm dressed in kitenge. Madam Speaker, my point of order is this. If you are promoting kitenge, and Honorable Babu Owino has not come wearing a kitenge suit, why is he being given a chance to speak on kitenge? And we are promoting kitenge. He's wearing a suit from the US. When we are promoting local products, Madam Speaker, give only men who are promoting the local products, not the men who are promoting things from abroad.
Bi Speaker, niko na box ambayo ni kitenge. Siwezi onyesha hapa jamani. Bi Speaker, nina furaha sana kwa kuwa tuna promote local manufacturing, Bi Speaker. Na mimi nimefurahia Mama Fatuma, Mheshimiwa Fatuma amesema sisi wanaume tuendelee kuinua wamama. Na ninasema tutaendelea kuwainua kama wamama wetu, na tutafanya kazi chini yenu tafadhali. Asante sana.
The Honorable Catherine Omayo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This Kiswahili. Nashukuru sana. Nimeambiwa nizungumze Kiswahili. Kuinua uchumi wetu na kuleta pia jobs, kazi kwa wamama wa kiwango ya chini na wanaume wa kiwango ya chini ni kuwapatia biashara. Kwa hivyo kuvaa na kitenge sio tu kwa party peke yake, yafaa utamaduni wetu wa Kiafrika tusiusahau, kwa sababu tunaiga mifano ya huko ng'ambo na tunasahau tamaduni zetu. Tunaonekana kama puppets. Sijui puppet. Puppet. Tunakaa kikaragosi. Tunakaa, unajua ukiomba utamaduni ya mtu mwingine haistiri matako. Ama huwa wanasema aje kwa Kiswahili? Yeah, so yafaa tusiazime tu kila kitu, hata kizungu wanasema tuongee saa zingine sijui namna gani. Mimi naona tuzidi hata hapa kwa bunge tukue mstari wa mbele kurudisha mahali ambapo tulipotelea, mahali ambapo tulianza kufikiria hata sisi tunafanana kama wazungu. Kwa hivyo tuvae na tutembee kama wazungu na tuongee kama wazungu na kuvaa kama wazungu. Ni mabeste wetu, lakini ikifika mahali pa tamaduni zetu, I think number 1 ni kuvaa kama Mwafrika na kusmile kama Mwafrika na kukaa kama Mwafrika na kufikiria Kiafrika, lakini kama mtu amesoma, yani uko a little bit civilized and exposed. So be speaker, naomba pia ukuwe unavaa tu hivyo kila siku ukiweza, kwa sababu sasa inakuonesha kama kweli deputy madam speaker, maybe upcoming speaker, maybe upcoming president. Your definition of your dressing is of a higher notch. Jinsi anavyofanana, nasema anafanana kama malakia ama malikia. Queen. Anakaa kama malkia. Anapendeza sana. Mpaka nilikuwa nimesahau kama ni yeye, lakini sasa nimemchunguza vyema nikapata ni yeye. So ujaze wardrobe na nguo kaa hizo, kwa sababu heshima inakuja immediately. Si ati tunabembeleza kuheshimika. Kwa hivyo nashukuru sana na nitakuwa navaa kitenge kila saa kila siku.
What's your point of order, Mheshimiwa?
Asante Madam Speaker, nilikuwa na point of order na ni muhimu nizungumze kwa sababu kuna watoto wa shule ambapo wanatusikiza tukizungumza kwa Kiswahili. Mheshimiwa Babu Owino alipozungumza kwamba ati kuna nguo imekaa kwekwe, hiyo si Kiswahili sanifu, na huenda watoto wetu pale wakachukulia hilo kwamba waheshimiwa walilizungumza na labda litaingia katika kamusi. Kwa hivyo ningeomba neno kwekwe kama linazungumzia mambo ya nguo liweze kutolewa na wanafunzi wajue kwamba hakuna neno kama hilo. Mheshimiwa Babu Owino, asante.
The Honorable Bishop Kosgei, nominated member.
Madam Speaker, I may not be good in Swahili, but I will try next time. I wish to begin on the onset to congratulate our beautiful ladies, honorable members of parliament, for demonstrating and speaking to our identity as Africa. I still join the speakers that also the male counterpart would also do the same and have a week for demonstrating our Africanness. Let us tell our story. In history of the Western civilization, many writers and speakers have continued to speak on our behalf. It is time that Africa speak through their arts, the way they dress, and even in their language. And we are very happy that Swahili is being promoted to be the African language. Madam Speaker, this is a very interesting week in this country and in our parliament. Thank you.
The Honorable Timothy Wanyonyi, member for Westlands.
Asante sana Bi Speaker kwa kunipatia fursa ya kuchangia huu mswada. Mimi Madam Speaker, nimefurahi sana kuona mama wetu wabunge ambao ni viongozi wameingia hapa, kuanzia kwako wewe mwenyewe mking'aa kabisa, lakini mafasi ni chaguo la mtu, na wamefanya hiyo mtindo nataka kuwahimiza wamama, wakati mwingine mkifanya uamuzi, leta wanaume na nyinyi pamoja. Mungetuibia hiyo siri, hata sisi tungekuja hapa tumefaa kama nyinyi. Nafikiria nyinyi wakati mwingine mnafanyanga upakuzi, mnafanya mambo kimama, alafu mnataka wanaume wa support. Mimi nasema kwamba ni jambo la muhimu, lakini linatakana kujumuisha kila mtu, ndio tujue ya kwamba hii ni jambo letu lote zote, ni kimila yetu, na tunataka kuona fasi la Kenya, kwa sababu hii mavazi mmefaa hapa mengi si ya Kenya. Tunataka kuona fasi la Kenya, ile ambaye imeshonwa na inaitwa Kenya, na hiyo ndio tutafurahia, ndio tutainua viwango ya wale watu ambao wanafanya hii kazi, mafundi wetu, vijana wetu, na wale wamama ambao serikali ya Kenya Kwanza wanasema bottoms up. Hao ndio nataka kuinua, na sisi tutaenda kushona nguo huko. Mtuonyeshe mbenye mlishona, tuende tushone mashati na vitenge zetu. Asanteni Mama Speaker kwa kunipa nafasi ya kuzungumza.
Mheshimiwa Timothy Wanyonyi, wamama walisema kwamba, na ulisikia Mheshimiwa Haika Mzigi akisema kwamba tunavaa nguo ya Kiafrika. So sio Kenya peke yake, lakini bora zimeshonwa na Wakenya. Ningependa kupatia nafasi hii Mheshimiwa Yusuf Mohamed.
Asante Bi Speaker kwa kunipatia fursa hii, na nachukua fursa hii kusema kwamba leo ni siku ya furaha na ya shangwe, kwa sababu naona wakina mama wetu wamekuwa na mwamko na wamejitokeza leo kuzatiti na kuishikilia kwa nguvu utamaduni wetu wa Kiafrika. Na unajua taifa lolote lisilo na utamaduni sio taifa huru. Tumekuwa na kasumba ya kikoloni ambapo tumeambiwa mavazi ya kizungu ndio bora, mavazi ya nje ya kizungu ndio ustaarabu, lakini si hivyo. Bara la Afrika limekuwa na ustaarabu wa kudumu na wa muda mrefu kwa siku nyingi sana, kwa miaka mingi sana, kwa karne nyingi sana. Na naona kwamba bunge hii na wakina mama wameonyesha mfano, na mfano huu unaweza ukawa jambo ambalo unawahimiza wakina mama wengine wa Kenya kujua kwamba wana utamaduni na wana mavazi ya heshima, mavazi maridadi. Na mimi nasema kwamba bunge hili wakina mama na mbunge wa Taita Taveta, hongera sana kwa kuleta jambo hili kwenye mbele katika bunge. Na sio jambo la kuomba au wanaume wasaidie, ni wajibu sisi kuunga mkono jambo lolote ambalo linawapeleka mbele wakina mama wetu kujionyesha walivyo na kurudi katika utamaduni wao wa kiasili ambao ni wa heshima na ambaye ni nzuri. Kwa hivyo mimi nasema kwamba huu ni mwamko ambao utaonyesha mfano mzuri. Na hata sisi wanaume mimi nafikiria bunge libadilishe sheria zake ili tusiwe tunavaa hii kamba kwenye shingo letu kila siku na kuvaa hizi suti za kizungu. Haina raha. Angalia sasa hivi hali ya hewa ilivyo, ni kwamba ni joto sana, lakini unakuja unalazimishwa kuvaa tai na jacket, unatokwa na jasho, huna raha kwa sababu ya kasumba ya kizungu. So tunahitaji kuwa na ukombozi wa akili, ukombozi wa fikra, na kujifikiria kwa heshima kwamba sisi na Waafrika tuna utamaduni, tuna mavazi yetu, na nawapongeza sana na nawaambia muende mbele. Na sisi wanaume pia tuhimizwe, tubadilishe sheria za bunge ili tuweze kuwa na raha ya kuvaa nguo zetu za kiasili. Naona mwenzetu katika Senate, mbunge wa Narok, anavaa mavazi ya kiasili, na dada yetu huyo kutoka Narok naona amevaa za kienyeji. Wamasai, Wasamburu, Waturkana wameshikilia utamaduni wao, bado hawajatawaliwa kiakili kama Wakenya wengine. Na Kenya sio kisiwa, si lazima sisi tuwe tunabuni kila kitu. Hizi mipaka ni mipaka zilizowekwa na wakoloni juzi, miaka chache tu. Kuna watu wanaishi hapa Kenya ambao walizaliwa kabla ukoloni haujafika katika sehemu nyingi za Kenya. Kwa hivyo sisi ni Waafrika, sisi ni Waafrika Mashariki, na wenzetu wote katika Afrika Mashariki pia wanabadili. Ukienda Tanzania utaona mavazi ya kupendeza ya wakina mama, mavazi ya kupendeza ya wanaume. Kwa hivyo nawatakia kila la kheri, muendelee hivyo hivyo, mvae hizi mavazi mazuri, mtandaze hiyo utamaduni na ustaarabu kote Kenya, na tujikomboe kiakili na tuwe na nchi inayoheshimika. Asante sana.
Asanteni sana. Let us move to the next order. I think leader of majority had, okay.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 44-2A, I rise to give the following statement on behalf of the House Business Committee, which met on Tuesday, 21st February 2023, to prioritize the business for consideration during the week. As members are aware, Honorable Speaker, yesterday, Wednesday, 22nd February 2023, the House commenced deliberations on the report by the Public Debt and Privatization Committee on the consideration of the Consolidated Fund Services expenditures for the supplementary estimates number 1 of 2022-2023. I would like to thank this committee for a job very well done with the way they were able to put together this report in record time. And also note that it is the first such report in the history of Parliament. Members are expected to continue deliberations on this if debate will not be concluded by the rise of the House today. Honorable Speaker, next week, the House will consider the appointment. Sorry, Honorable Speaker. Next week, the House will consider the report by the Budget and Appropriations Committee on the first supplementary estimates for the financial year 2022-2023. Honorable Speaker, the House will also continue with a general debate on the proposal to Parliament to amend the Constitution and the standing orders, as well as the report of delegation to the 42nd session of the ACP-EU Joint Parliamentary Assembly. I therefore urge members to be present and actively participate in this important business and other priority matters that will be brought before the House. Honorable Speaker, the House Business Committee will reconvene again on Tuesday, 28 February, to schedule business for the rest of the week. Honorable Speaker, I now wish to lay this statement on the table of the House. Thank you.
Okay, next order.
Order number 8, motion, a report on the consideration of the Crops Coffee General Amendment Regulations 2022. Question to be put.
Before I put the question, I wish to recognize the presence of students from the University of Nairobi, Starehe constituency, Nairobi County, who are accompanied by students from the University, Soka University, Japan, from Japan. Welcome to Kenya. I now put the question, as yesterday the mover had replied. I now put the question that the House adopts the report of the Committee on Delegated Legislation on its consideration of the Crops Coffee General Amendment Regulations 2022, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023, and pursuant to the provisions of Section 18 of the Statutory Instruments Act 2013 and Standing Order 2010-4B, annuls in its entirety the Crops Coffee General Amendment Regulations 2022, published in Legal Notice number 102 of 2022. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Order number 9, motion, report on the consideration of the Consolidated Fund Services expenditures for the supplementary estimates number 1 of 2022-2023. Question to be put.
Honorable members, I now put the question that this House adopts the report of the Public Debt and Privatization Committee on its consideration of the Consolidated Fund Services expenditures for the supplementary estimates number 1 of 2022-2023, laid on the table of this House on Tuesday, February 21st, 2023. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 10, motion, appointment of members to the Select Committee on Member Services and Facilities.
Chairperson, Committee on Selection.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 175.3 and 212B3, this House approves the appointment of the following members to the Committee on Member Services and Facilities. The Honorable Stephen Karani Washira, MP, the Honorable Salim Faisal Abdallah Bader, MP, the Honorable Owen Ya Baya, MP, the Honorable Colonel Retired Dido Ali Raso, MP, the Honorable Peter Lochakapong, the Honorable Brighton Yegon, Leonard, the Honorable Ann Wanjiku Muratha, the Honorable Charity Kadhambi Chepkonyi, the Honorable Jerusha Momanyi Mongina, the Honorable Elisha Odhiambo Ochieng, the Honorable Ruth Busia Adhiambo Odinga, the Honorable Robert Basil Ngui, MP, the Honorable Beatrice Elachi, MP, the Honorable Paul Abur, MP, the Honorable Elsie Muhanda Busihile, MP. Honorable Speaker, this basically are just the same members as we indicated. There are two sessional committees, the Committee on Member Services and Facilities, and also the Committee on Powers and Privileges, that is on order number 11. These two sessional committees, their term lapsed at the end of December last year, and we therefore needed to renew their mandates so that they're able to continue with business of the House this term. And largely, we have maintained the same membership within the committees as to be able to facilitate them to hold their elections, to elect their chairs and vice chairs, and commence business. And especially this Members' Welfare Committee, Honorable Speaker, is a very important committee for members. And Honorable Speaker, I was a member of this committee in the last Parliament. And I will tell you, this committee did a lot of work under the chairmanship of the current Cabinet Secretary for Education, the Honorable Ezekiel Machogu. Those who are in the 12th Parliament, Honorable Speaker, and had occasion to use our gym and have been to the gym now can attest to the work of this committee in being able to ensure that members enjoy very good facilities, including the improvements that you saw at the members' private dining and the lounges, Honorable Speaker. And I'm sure there is a lot of work cut out for this committee. Also, Honorable Speaker, more importantly, is a huge responsibility that has been bestowed on this committee by our standing orders, that all other constitutional commissions are oversighted by this House. And the Parliamentary Service Commission is not an exception. It needs and it must be oversighted. And the committee that is charged with the responsibility of oversighting the workings of the Parliamentary Service Commission is the Members' Welfare and Facilities Committee. And I want to challenge the members of this committee, once you embark on your work, the Honorable Beatrice Elachi and the other members, please occasion members of the Parliamentary Service Commission to appear before you to account for their work as commissioners. it is only this committee that can oversight the Parliamentary Service Commission to ensure that whenever the institution of Parliament is employing staff are employed in a fair, transparent, competitive manner in line with our Constitution and our statutes. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I do hope that once this committee embarks on its work, they will pick up that task to ensure that even the staff that to serve us in the other committees, we have staff that are recruited competitively and the best caliber of staff that we can get in this country. And also, more importantly, to ensure that there is both regional and ethnic balance in the composition of our staff in Parliament, because Parliament cannot be treated as a village institution. This is not a county assembly. This is the National Assembly and the Senate of the Republic of Kenya. Therefore, you cannot have few communities having the bulk of staffers in an institution that should be the face of our nation. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, you know, it is ashaming that at times the offices you would walk in and you find people conversing in vernacular. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, I'm saying these things because a lot of times this committee has been taken to be a committee because of the history it had in the 10th, 8th, and 7th Parliament, when one very famous member from West Pokot said that he cannot be taken to the committee, the kitchen committee. This committee is no longer the catering committee. This is a very important committee to this House. And if we find ourselves that Parliament is recruiting staff that come from my village because I am the leader of majority, or that come from the village of the Honorable Mohammed Ali, or the Honorable Makau, it's only people from Mavoko who are being employed by Parliament because they are commissioners. It is only this committee that can take charge, oversight the Parliamentary Service Commission to ensure that you not only enjoy good services and good facilities, but to also ensure that you enjoy the services of the best caliber of staff that you can get in this country. With those very many remarks, I want to beg that we support the establishment of this committee and the other one when we get to that order, so that they may embark on their very important work. And I wish to request the Honorable Naomi Wako, the indomitable Naomi Wako, member for Marsabit, to second. And also Deputy Whip.
Thank you, Leader. Madam Speaker, I stand to support and encourage the members to participate and play their roles very well. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I now propose the question that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 175 Sub-Article 3 and 212B3, this House approves the appointment of the following members to the Committee on Member Services and Facilities. 1, the Honorable Stephen Karani Wachira, MP. The Honorable Salim Faisal Abdallah Badar, MP. The Honorable Owen Ya Baya, MP. The Honorable Retired Colonel Dido Ali Raso. The Honorable Peter Locha Kapong. The Honorable Brighton Yegon Leonard. The Honorable Anne Wanjiko Moratha. The Honorable Charity Kadhambi Chepkwony. The Honorable Jerusha Momanyi Mongina. The Honorable Elisha Odhiambo Ochen. The Honorable Ruth Busia Adhiambo Odinga. The Honorable Robert Basil Ngui. The Honorable Beatrice Elachi. The Honorable Paul Abor. And the Honorable Alice Muhanda Busi Hile, MP. Honorable members, is it the mood of the House that I put the question? I will give a chance to the minority whip.
Speaker. Madam Speaker, we have not come to this house to listen to questions. We came here to debate, and we must be given an opportunity to say something on issues. Madam Speaker, this committee that we are passing today here is a very important committee for this house, because members spend more than 60% of their time in a day in this house, or even 70%. And this is the committee that takes care of their lives and the welfare of everything that they do in this house. So, Madam Speaker, this is a very, very important committee, because without this committee, Parliament cannot function. This is the committee that makes Parliament function, Madam Speaker, but it is normally belittled. When you are taken there, people think they are taken there because of punishment. But the people who take you there know where they are taking you, like the whips. Because that is a very important committee, Madam Speaker. And it's not about mandasis, about tea, that's how it's normally belittled. But this committee is the committee that drives this house, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we must take care also about, we must be careful also about the welfare of our staff, Madam Speaker. And I can't agree more with the majority leader today, that the staff and the people who work in this Parliament must have the face of Kenya. But again, I want to send him also to the executive, because the executive that is setting bad precedent in this country, Madam Speaker. When you just employ people from your community in the executive, Parliament follows suit, Madam Speaker. When you have out of 22 ministers, 14 from 2 communities, you have permanent secretaries, 52, you have 14 from 1 community. Madam Speaker, those are the problem we are having. And if it is a company with shares, we shall be told, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if you want to strengthen how things are done in this country, it must start with the top. When the top gets it right, then every other Kenyan will get it right, Madam Speaker. And you know, majority leader sits in very high places because of his position. So when he goes for those meetings, inform the executive that they are setting bad precedent in this country. And Parliament is following the example, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, now you have spoken, give me time to say mine. But this is debate. Madam Speaker, in conclusion, I want to say this. Madam Speaker,
I want to give a chance to the leader of majority. You are on a point of order. What is out of order, Honorable?
You know, Honorable Speaker, besides relevance, the Honorable Junet Mohammed is grossly misleading the country, and he knows he's on national TV, that when the leader of majority sits in those meetings, well, as he knows, the only meeting I sit in is the House Business Committee on Tuesday and the Selections Committee in the Parliament of Kenya. I do not, and I represent the people of Kikuyu in the National Assembly. I am not a member of the executive, and he therefore cannot be misleading the country that there are meetings I sit in as a member of the executive. Therefore, you know, the Honorable Junet, Honorable Speaker, under the handshake regime, he was used to sitting in Harambee House, and he probably perceives that I carry on with the habit of the handshake regime. I do not. I sit in my office in the National Assembly and carry on my work in line with my constitutional mandate to oversight, legislate, and represent the people of Kikuyu. And the people of Suna East, when you do not represent them, I speak for them.
Honorable members, I order that debate on this subject will be confined to the motion number 10, that is concerning the appointment of members to select committees.
Madam Speaker,
I urge honorable members to remain relevant to the subject matter.
Madam Speaker, I didn't know until today that the majority leader is such a small man in this country. Kumbe had a very bad perception about him. I thought he's a big man. Kumbe is just a small errand man in Parliament here for the executive, Madam Speaker. I didn't know that. Oh, I'm sorry. Now I know you're a small man. But I know he attends night meetings, that sometimes he calls me in the wee hours of the night, that I want to deal with you tomorrow in a certain manner. So now I know. But anyway, Madam Speaker, the most important message I want to give to Kenyans is that we have to have a country, if we were to have a harmonious country, Madam Speaker, because it is true what the majority leader has raised here, that there was skewed employment in this Parliament for the last 10 years. That I am not disagreeing with him. But what I am disagreeing with him is that we should address this matter holistically as a country, Madam Speaker. You can't have someone telling you that you cannot work in a government office because you're not a shareholder of a company, Madam Speaker. We cannot have that kind of business in this country. We will not allow it to happen. It will not happen, and it shall not happen, and it is doomed to fail. But Madam Speaker, in conclusion, this committee that we are passing today must be taken very serious, must be seen as the premier committee of the House, and I want to urge the majority leader that he should have been the chairman of this committee instead of the selection committee. Because he's very good. You know, he also runs butcheries in Kikuyu, Madam Speaker. Me and him know each other. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and have a good day.
Honorable members, you had indicated that it was the mood of the House that I put the question. Do I go ahead and put the question? So, honorable members, I put the question that pursuant to provisions of Standing Orders 175.3 and 212B3, this House approves the appointment of the following members to the Committee on Member Services and Facilities. 1. The Honorable Stephen Karani Wachira MP, the Honorable Salim Faisal Abdallah Badar MP, the Honorable Owen Yabaya MP, the Honorable Retired Colonel Dido Ali Raso MP, the Honorable Peter Lochakapong MP, the Honorable Brighton Yegon Leonard, the Honorable Anne Wanjiko Muratha, the Honorable Charity Kadhambi Chepkwony, the Honorable Jerusha Momanyi Mongina, the Honorable Elisha Odhiambo Ochieng, the Honorable Ruth Busia Adhiambo Odinga, the Honorable Robert Basil Ngui, the Honorable Beatrice Elachi MP, the Honorable Paul Abor MP, the Honorable Elsie Mohanda Busihile MP. Will as many as of this opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it, honorable members.
Order number 11, motion, appointment of members to the Committee of Powers and Privileges.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Section 15(1)(a)(2) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act 2017 and Standing Order 175.3, this House approves the appointment of the following members to the Powers and Privileges Committee, in addition to the one specified under paragraph 1A1 of the said Act. Honorable Mureu Wakili Edward MP, Honorable Jane Kihara OGW MP, Honorable Samuel Moroto Chumel MP, Honorable Festus Mwangi Kionjori MP, Honorable Philip Kagushia Gishohi MP, Honorable Rai Samuel Gonzi MP, Honorable Joseph Lekuton MP, the Honorable Fabian Chule Muli MP, the Honorable Sabina Wanjiro Shege MP, the Honorable Mboko Mishi Juma Hamisi MP, the Honorable Jessica Nduku Mbalu Kiko MP, the Honorable James Oyo, that should be Koyo Onyango. There is a mistyping on Oyo's name. It's Koyo Onyango MP. The Honorable John Okano Buire MP and the Honorable Rose Museo Mumo MP. As I had stated earlier, honorable members, that again is a sessional committee and the same renewal of the term, and has very seasoned members, as you note, members who are serving 5 terms, 4 terms, 3 terms, 2 terms, and at least 2 members who are serving their first term, for them to be able to learn from the older members on what the Committee of Powers and Privileges. That is a very important committee, also chaired by the Speaker himself. It's the only other committee other than the House Business Committee that the Speaker chairs. And therefore, I want to ask the member for Gatundu South, the Honorable Gigi Kagombe, to second.
Honorable Speaker, I rise to second this committee as constituted, because it's a very important committee that looks into the breaches of powers and privileges of members of parliament, and I therefore second the committee as constituted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I now propose the question that pursuant to provisions of section 15(1)(a)(2) of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act 2017 and Standing Order 117.3, this House approves the appointment of the following members to the Powers and Privileges Committee, in addition to the one specified under paragraph 1A, Roman 1 of the said Act. 1. The Honorable Muriu Wakili Edward MP, the Honorable Jane Keara OGH MP, the Honorable Samuel Moroto Chumel MP, the Honorable Festus Mwangi Kiunjuri MP, the Honorable John Philip Kagushia Gishohi MP, the Honorable Rai Samuel Gozi MP, the Honorable Joseph Lekuton MP, the Honorable Fabian Chule Muli MP, the Honorable Sabina Wanjiro Chege MP, the Honorable Mishimboko Juma Kamisi MP, the Honorable Jessica Nduko Mbalu Kiko MP, the Honorable James Koyo Onyango MP, the Honorable John Okano Bwire MP, and the Honorable Rose Museo MP. Honorable members, may I put the question? Okay, so therefore I go on to put the question. I therefore put the question that pursuant to provisions of Standing Orders 15.1A.2 of the Parliamentary Powers and Privileges Act 2017 and Standing Orders 117.3, this House approves the appointment of the following members to the Powers and Privileges Committee, in addition to the one specified under paragraph 1A, Roman 1 of the said Act. 1. The Honorable Muiru Wakili MP, the Honorable Jane Kiara OGH MP, the Honorable Samuel Moroto Chumer MP, the Honorable Festus Mwangi Kiunjuri MP, the Honorable John Philip Kagushia Gishoi MP, the Honorable Rai Samuel Ngozi MP, the Honorable Joseph Lekuton MP, the Honorable Fabian Chule Muli MP, the Honorable Sabina Wanjiro Shege MP, the Honorable Mboko Mishi Juma Kamisi MP, the Honorable Jessica Nduku Mbalu Kiko MP, the Honorable James Koyo Onyango MP, the Honorable John Okano Mbwire MP, and the Honorable Rose Museo MP. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. And will as many of the contrary opinions say nay? The ayes have it, honorable members. Next order.
Order number 12, motion. Further changes to the membership of various committees.
Of majority.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, and I beg to move that further to the resolutions of the House of Thursday, October 27, 2022, and Wednesday, November 9, 2022, appointing members into various committees, and pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 173, this House further approves the appointment of the following members to the respective committees as specified hereunder. A, under departmental committees in sports and culture, the Honorable Shege Njuguna MP to replace Chumuel Samuel Moroto MP. 2, under regional development, the Honorable Deko Baro Mohammed MP to replace Honorable Kahugu Eric Mwangi MP. B, under financial audit and money-related committees, 1, public debt and privatization, the Honorable Shege Njuguna to replace the Honorable Kahugu Eric Mwangi MP. Under special funds accounts committee, the Honorable Kahugu Eric Mwangi MP to replace the Honorable Gishuki Edwin Mogo MP. C, under other select committees, the Committee on Delegated Legislation, the Honorable Deko Baro Mohammed MP to replace the Honorable Rai Samuel Gonzi MP. Honorable Speaker, just for clarity, these changes are occasioned is actually accommodating the 2 new members who were sworn in at the beginning of this session. You know, Honorable Speaker, all our standing orders require that all members of Parliament must sit at least in one committee. And the Selections Committee and the House leadership on both sides has endeavored to ensure that actually all members of Parliament are in at least one committee. And no member of Parliament, as per the standing orders, sits in not more than 2 departmental committees. You therefore find there are members, Honorable Speaker, because again, we could not constitute committees without the requisite numbers. Those committees that sit 15 members, we had to fill members, so we put some members in more than 2 committees, departmental and a select. We put some into departmental committees and some into select committees to be able to hold the 2 positions of the 2 members, the member for Kandara and the member for Garissa Township, whose elections were held early in January, and the former members of Parliament had been appointed to cabinet. Therefore, all we are doing is to accommodate these 2 members, the member for Kandara, the Honorable Shege Njuguna, and the Honorable Deko Baro Mohammed, the member for Garissa Township, for them to now embark on the work of committees. And I'm glad that the Right Honorable Speaker was very magnanimous during the induction to committees. He did allow these members to attend the induction sessions in Mombasa, and be inducted into the business of committees, and we will now afford them the opportunity to be able to interact in committees, and we have ensured that they both serve in both a departmental committee and a select committee. With that, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move and request my sister, the Honorable Naomi Wako, to second.
Madam Speaker, I stand to second. Thank you.
Thank you very much, honorable members. I now propose the question that further to the resolutions of the House on Thursday, October 27th, 2022, and Wednesday, November 9th, 2022, appointing members into various departmental committees, and pursuant to provisions of Standing Orders 173. This House further approves the appointment of the following members to respective committees as specified hereunder. A. Departmental Committees. 1. Sports and Culture. The Honorable Chege Njuguna MP to replace the Honorable Chumel Samuel Moroto MP. 2. Regional Development. The Honorable Dekor Barrow Mohammed MP to replace the Honorable Kahugu Eric Mwangi MP. B. Financial Audit and Money-Related Committees. 1. Public Debt and Privatization. The Honorable Chege Njuguna MP to replace the Honorable Kahugu Eric Mwangi MP. 2. Special Funds Committees. The Honorable Kahugu Eric Mwangi MP to replace the Honorable Geshoke Edwin Mugo. C. Other Select Committees. Committee on Delegated Legislation. The Honorable Dekor Barrow Mohammed MP to replace the Honorable Rai Samuel Gozi. Honorable members, do I put the question? Honorable members, I put the question. Is it the mood of the House that I put the question? So it is the mood of the House that I put the question. And I therefore put the question that pursuant to resolutions of the House on Thursday, 27th, 2022, and Wednesday, November 9th, 2022, appointing members into various committees and pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 173. This House further approves the appointment of the following members to the respective committees as specified hereunder. A. Departmental Committees, Sports and Culture. The Honorable Chege Njuguna MP to replace the Honorable Chumel Samuel Moroto MP. 2. The Regional Development Committee. The Honorable Dekor Barrow Mohammed MP to replace the Honorable Kahugu Eric Mwangi MP. B. Financial Audit and Money-Related Committees. 1. Public Debt and Privatization. The Honorable Chege Njuguna MP to replace the Honorable Kahugu Eric Mwangi MP. 2. Special Funds Accounts Committee. The Honorable Kahugu Eric Mwangi MP to replace the Honorable Gishuki Edwin Mugo MP. And C. Other Select Committees. The Honorable, I would like to take that again, Honorable Members. Select Committees. Committee on Delegated Legislation. The Honorable Dekor Barrow Mohammed MP to replace the Honorable Rai Samuel Gozi. Honorable members, will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. And will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Thank you, honorable members. What is out of order? The Honorable Junet Mohammed.
Madam Speaker, it's only that I'm speaking now after the facts. But first, I want to congratulate the new members, Honorable Deko and the other member who have gotten their new committees. Madam Speaker, I want to bring something because I'm a member of the selection committee that is chaired by the majority leader, Honorable Kimani Ichung'wah. Madam Speaker, I must bring this matter out because this is when we are discussing this matter on the floor of the House, and I think it must go on record. Madam Speaker, yesterday in our selection committee, if you look at the motion that we have just passed, and you look at the list that has just been passed, and the names that have just been passed is a list that consists only on from the majority side. There is no single change from the minority side. But Madam Speaker, the minority side had their own changes to do. And we were not punishing anyone. We wanted to reorganize our committees so that they can become more effective. Because if you want to punish anyone, you will de-whip him. And the de-whipping is done under Article 174, Standing Order 174. But this one we wanted to reorganize for members who are 3 committees, members who are 4 committees, members who are more than 2 committees, so that members can effectively serve in 1 committee or 2 committees maximum. Madam Speaker, we were denied to have that chance. Yesterday, for the first time in the history of this country, of this parliament, Madam Speaker, we almost went to a voting in the selection committee, where the majority blocked the minority from managing their committees, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, if this House consists of the majority side and the minority side, if the minority cannot manage their side and they have to be managed by the majority side, Madam Speaker, if that is not capture of parliament, what is capture of parliament, Madam Speaker? If we have the office of the whip and my leader here is the minority leader, cannot do any effective changes like what's happening now in the Senate, Madam Speaker, why are we in office? Why is parliament facilitating us? Why don't we close those offices and then we give the keys to the majority leader and the clerk? They can run the parliament the way than the speaker, Madam Speaker, especially the majority leader who is the chairman of that committee. Madam Speaker, what has happened yesterday will remain in the history of this parliament and will be remembered as the worst day a committee of parliament made a decision in this country, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what do we do with those committees now? There are members who are coming to our offices every day who have 1 committee, and there are members who have 3 committees. So we wanted to rationalize, and the majority now wants to run the minority side. How are we going to allow that to happen, Madam Speaker? That is a declaration of war in this House, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, if that matter is not arrested by the leadership of this House, the consequences will be dire. So, Madam Speaker, I want to urge the majority leader, now that he is the chairman of the selection committee, he is the majority leader, to show leadership so that this House can run in the manner that is envisaged in the standing orders and the Constitution, where we have the majority side and we have the minority side. And people have joined those coalitions by choice. Nobody was forced. So if you want to get your committee from the majority side, go and join the majority side and get your committee. The committees were shared in accordance with the proportional representation of members in this House, Madam Speaker. Members went out on August 28th, campaigned, and they were elected from their constituencies to come and represent their people. So, Madam Speaker, as minority side, I want to register here that our rights as minority guaranteed under standing order have been trampled on yesterday, Madam Speaker, and the way we are supposed to run the minority side cannot be dictated by the majority side. That's for a fact. Neither can we dictate how the majority side should be run by the majority leadership. So, Madam Speaker, our proposal for rationalizing our sides of the committee was yesterday rejected through voting. We don't want to, we have a serious crisis outside Parliament. If the members wish, we bring that crisis also inside here, well and good. We know how to do it best. From 2013 to 2017 to all the time we have been doing it, we know how to do it. We have done freebies here. We have made Uhuru Kenyatta cannot speak in this House one time. We can repeat the same, but we don't want to go that direction. We want to have a direction where we show leadership, and I urge the majority leader to take leadership and make sure our committees are brought here without any fail, and majority should not have a say in how we run our committee. If that demand is not met, I am issuing here notice that the consequences will be there in 14 days.
Well, obviously, honorable members, the first opportunity goes to the majority leader, who is the chair. So the floor is yours, majority leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, it is good that the minority whip has raised that very pertinent issue, because committees of this House, including the selections committee that I chair, and it's the only committee that I chair and I sit in other than the House Business Committee, where I attend as a member under the chairmanship of the Speaker. But the selections committee, I chair. And I chaired the meeting yesterday evening from about 5 p.m. to around 7 p.m. And it is true that there was a list that came from the minority, which members felt First, it was not part of the circulated agenda for the meeting, because the agenda circulated, I think, from the 27th of this month, had two agendas, which was approval of the membership to the two sessional committees, the Powers and Privileges Committee and the Members Welfare Committee, and placement of the two new members, the Honorable Shege and the Honorable Major Deko. And when the leader of minority introduced the list of changes under AOB, we had a spirited engagement for close to an hour on whether first we should admit it such substantive business as AOB. And eventually we agreed by consensus that we should admit that business under AOB. Therefore, it is not true that the majority in any way stopped that business from being transacted. We did discuss the list, including myself and the Honorable Leader of Minority first reading out the list of the members being moved from what committee to what committee. And members had varied opinion to an extent where one of the members, and I'm glad the Honorable KJ is in the house, because he's the one who moved the motion that we take a vote. Because where you don't agree on anything by consensus, then the vote decides. And before we voted, the leader, the minority whip, is the one actually who offered to withdraw the list of changes, because he saw the sense in building consensus. And why are we seeking consensus, Honorable Speaker? I said the committees sit on behalf of plenary. We could come and sit, the 349 of us, and place members in committees. But you know that would be a marketplace and it cannot work. Therefore, when a committee sits, and when you are a chair of a committee, and I know the Honorable Junet has never chaired any committee for the last 12 years he has been in this house, but I have been the chair of the most important committee, the Budget and Appropriations Committee, where you have to give and take. I have told the Honorable Junet and the Honorable Pio, and I believe in consensus building. I believe in people engaging and arriving at fair engagement and fair results. And therefore, I want to treat a member of the minority party from whichever party, whether you're in Jubilee, whether you're in ODM, whether you're in Wiper, as a member of parliament. And where the Honorable Nyikal's rights, I feel his rights are being infringed by the Honorable Junet, I will stand up to be counted to protect the rights of Honorable Nyikal to be a member of any committee. Therefore, Honorable Speaker, I did implore from last week on the minority that other than doing changes in a very sectarian manner and in a very underhand manner by sneaking in at least the last minute through the clerk's office, let us engage as we did when we were forming these committees. Let us have changes from the majority. Because even the majority may desire to, and we desire to make changes. These members in the majority, on the majority side will tell you there are some who want to sit in other committees. There are members who are appointed to some committees. They have never attended a single meeting. And I did commit as a chair of the selections committee that unlike in the two previous assemblies where I have sat, where the selections committee only sat once at the beginning of every session, we intend to have regular meetings of the selections committee to review the work of committees and the work members are engaging on in committees, so that we preempt the situation where members are placed into committees, they appear before a committee, sign, run to the next committee, sign, and probably run to a third committee and sit for 30 minutes. And you offer no meaningful engagement, and you don't give value to that committee. And therefore, Honorable Speaker, it is in that endeavor to ensure, one, there is fairness. Because I do not want to chair a committee where the Honorable Jerusha Momanyi feels that her rights were infringed on. She had no notice that she was being moved from one committee to the other. She has not been given an opportunity by the whip or the minority leader or the majority leader or the majority whip. Therefore, it's only in the pursuit of fairness
and maybe it could be my weakness to try to be fair to everybody, but not to control in any way the minority side. And I want to be on record. I have no business running the minority side. When you seek to be guided, please look for the people taking you to Jivanji, not Kimani Ichung'wa. I will guide you in the selections committee. Probably why the Honorable Junet is saying that nobody has been forced into their coalition. And indeed, you remember even last year, before elections, we were inviting people to the coalition of the willing, the Kenya Kwanza coalition. There is no secret that the Azimio coalition party was not a coalition of the willing. It was a coalition of coercion and intimidation by the handshake brothers. We are not in the last regime, Honorable Junet, where anybody within the majority will seek to run the minority side. I want to ask you, the Honorable Junet, the minority leadership, take charge of the political parties under your coalition. I have no business managing the political parties on your coalition, but those on the Kenya Kwanza coalition can rest assured they will enjoy fairness. They will have equal opportunity to enjoy their rights and privileges as members of parliament. And there will be no animal that will be more equal than the other, as the case is in Azimio, where the Honorable Junet sits and decides who will sit in a committee by himself without engaging and without consultation with members of his coalition. Therefore, it is actually in bad faith, Honorable Speaker, for the Honorable Junet to be raising this issue, knowing we had engaged with him one-on-one.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker,
honorable members, I'll give two opportunities. One on my left to the Honorable Junet, because he has been mentioned, and on this side I'll give the Honorable John Waweru.
Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, I want to tell the majority leader.
Order, honorable members.
I
would like the Honorable Junet to be heard in silence, honorable members.
Madam Speaker, I want to tell the majority leader and to remind him that this House has majority and minority. The majority leader behaves as though we are under the Kanu days, when we were being led by the majority leader only in this House. Shame on him, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, what is this fairness? What is this fairness he's talking about when his own members are suffering in his own coalition and is unable to deal with them? Madam Speaker, what is this fairness he's talking about? His own members have no CDF, he's he's in government. His own members have no bursary, he's in government. His own members have nothing to tell their constituencies, he's in government. Madam Speaker, if democracy is supposed to be allowed to mature in this country, what the majority leader has just said here should not be on record of this parliament, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, how can he say he's the one who can be fair to Jerusha Momanyi? When has her coalition been unfair to her? When? Madam Speaker, when? Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, people like now, what is her name? Mheshimiwa Korere is saying, will tell you, if she wants to join another coalition, nobody's holding her back. She can go tomorrow morning. But if you are in our coalition, you must adhere to the rules and regulations of this coalition, Madam Speaker. And this parliament is going to generate to chaos now, the way I'm seeing. Madam Speaker, we will not allow.
You have made your point, Honorable Junet. And because the Honorable Kerry has been mentioned, and you also mentioned the Honorable Sarah Korere, I feel that it is fair. I will give a chance. Order. Order, honorable members. I will give a chance to the Honorable John Waweru. Please proceed, Honorable John Kerry.
Madam Speaker, I do believe that in this House we are able to debate and debate. Madam Speaker, I believe that in this House we are able to debate and debate rationally, Madam Speaker. And as you rightly said, Madam Speaker, I was in that meeting. And I want to tell this House authoritatively, Madam Speaker, that what has been presented by the majority leader is properly before this House. The committee applied itself, and in the best way that they could,
because what is being debated here by the leader, the majority whip, actually appeared before the committee and procedurally, Madam Speaker. We had to pause the meeting to actually accommodate the list that they wanted to bring to the committee, Madam Speaker. In fact, to resolve the impasse, I had to call, to implore the chairman to actually call the committee, the matter to a vote. But more importantly, Madam Speaker, I want to associate myself with the words of the majority leader, that the majority side has no business managing the minority side. In fact, what is happening, Madam Speaker, is natural. Last year, when we were saying that this coalition is coercing people into Azimio, when we were saying that this coalition is bullying people into Azimio, when we were saying that this coalition is intimidating people into Azimio, we meant exactly what we did. And no amount of shouting from Honorable Millie will stop me from saying that there shall be a stampede out of Azimio, because it is not a coalition of the willing. People are running out of Azimio because they are seeing the injustices in that coalition. The Wiper Party is crying in Azimio. The Wiper Party has been conned from the time this Azimio was called. It changed into NASA, and it is now Azimio, and it is still conning Wiper. The reason why you see the opposition side, the minority side silent, is because there are big brothers in the Azimio who have been bullying other junior members in that coalition, Madam Speaker. But I need to say, Madam Speaker, that as you well said, this is a house of debate. If we want maandamano we can take to Jacaranda, we can take it to Jivanji, we can take maandamano to Kamukunji, but this house shall remain the house of sober debate, where ideas shall be weighed by their merit, not by how loud you shout on the floor of the house. Madam Speaker, I want to say that the majority side has presented its list. The minority side has been unable to even agree on what changes they want in these committees. So if they want to abscond, Madam Speaker, it is their right to abscond even the sittings, Madam Speaker. But Azimio shall face a massive stampede of members, of coalition members and parties running away from Azimio. The stampede.
Point, honorable members, the last opportunity, honorable members, will go to the Honorable Sarah Korere.
Speaker, naomba nikushukuru. Na Mheshimiwa Speaker, wahenga wanasema mficha uchi hazai. Na Mheshimiwa Speaker, kinara wa walio wachache alipozungumza hapa alisema kwa kimombo kwamba wanataka kuchukua hatua za kinidhamu. Mheshimiwa Speaker, utasikiza na amesema. Na Mheshimiwa Speaker, mimi nataka kusema wakati Mheshimiwa Junet anasema kwamba wale wanataka kwenda kuchukua nafasi zao Kenya Kwanza waende, nataka nimpashe hatuendi. Na kama wako na njia ya kutupeleka, watafute tingatinga watupeleke. Tutakaa kwenye hii mrengo. Manake Mheshimiwa Speaker, ni aibu kwamba ndugu zetu ambaye ni kinara wa wachache hawana ile uvumilivu wa kusikiza mawaidha ambaye inatofautiana na yao. Na Mheshimiwa Speaker, kwa Kiingereza wanaita intolerance. Na Mheshimiwa Speaker, kila mmoja aliye katika nyumba hii alichaguliwa, alitumia mali zake, alitumia akili, alitumia wakati kutafuta kura, kujitafutia na kutafutia ule mrengo. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Speaker, tunapofika hapa alafu watu wanaanza kuhunjumu wengine, ati sasa watu wakienda kukutana na rais wa Kenya, na Kenya kuna rais mmoja, hakuna wa pili, ati unaomba ruhusa. Hiyo ni mamlaka ya imla, mbaya zaidi ya ile imla tulijua katika nchi. Mheshimiwa Speaker, Na Mheshimiwa Spika, hatuwezi omba Musa
let the Honorable Sarah Korere be heard in silence, just the way the other honorable members have been heard. You have the floor, Honorable Sarah Korere.
Na Mheshimiwa Spika, navyoelewa mimi ni kwamba kila mheshimiwa katika nyumba hii ako na wajibu wa kuhakikisha kwamba serikali imewajibika, awe wa upande ile ama wa upande hii. Kwa hivyo mimi nashindwa kizaazaa ambaye ndugu wetu kiongozi ama kinara walio wachache anataka kulete kisiri ni cha nini haswa. Na iwapo iko basi wasifanye kisiri, walete kinagaubaga, manake chama ambaye mimi nasimamia, na unajua Waswahili wanasema paka akiondoka panya utawala. Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta alipoondoka Jubilee, kwa sasa hivi mimi ndio party leader nashikilia. Na kama wana ODM wanataka kuzungumza, wazungumze na mimi. Kwa hiyo Mheshimiwa Spika, naomba kinara wa wengi alinde uhuru wa bunge hii na alinde haki ya wabunge hapa, na washirikiane na ndugu wetu hapa na waashe maneno ya jivanji. Wako katika nyumba hii waseme ile wanataka.
Honorable members, first of all, the matter that we are discussing has already been, a decision has already been made. Has already been made, and I would like to address the Honorable Junet. You have been a leader in this house. This is your third term in the house. Clearly, order, Honorable Nyikal. Order, Honorable Nyikal. Order, Honorable Nyikal. There are processes, honorable members, there are processes that happen based on standing order number 1, from standing order number 172, 173, through to 175. To 175. Clearly, this matter has gone through processes and it was brought to the House. And a decision has been made. So, honorable members, I would like to order that we move to the next order. Next order. Next order.
Order number 13, motion. General debate on the proposal to Parliament to consider amending the Constitution and the standing orders. Resumption of debate.
Order, honorable members. Order, honorable Nyikal. Please, honorable Nyikal, I order that you go back to your seat.
Will I clear my name?
First of all, honorable Nyikal, you will go back to your seat.
Will I clear my name? I'm going back, but will I clear my name?
Please proceed to your seat, honorable Nyikal.
I will clear my name. If I don't, I come. Don't ever do that.
Honorable members, the next order is a resumption of debate. Honorable members, we already moved to the next order, which is resumption of debate. And in regard to that, honorable members, I will give the opportunity to Honorable Kuria Kimani, member for Molo.
Thank you, Honorable
I gave
Speaker.
an opportunity to the member for Molo, the Honorable Kuria Kimani.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance to contribute to this particular motion. The issue before us, Madam Speaker, of the amendment of this constitution is a discussion that has been ongoing for a long time, Madam Speaker. And when we were doing our campaigns as a Kenya Kwanza government, we said that there was no need to go for a referendum to put the things that we felt needed to be corrected in the constitution, that those particular issues that needed to be corrected in the referendum could be done through Parliament. And therefore, Madam Speaker, I'm very happy that this matter is now appearing before us. It's now time for us to debate. Even, Madam Speaker, on the issue that had been said earlier and the confusion that was here earlier on the leader of majority and leader of minority, Madam Speaker, and some of the issues that we're saying, that let us set up the office of leader of opposition in the constitution. So that, Madam Speaker, as I have said this here before, when the minister...
Honorable members, the honorable member for Molo shall be heard in silence, and the matter that you are bringing up had already been concluded.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Speaker. And I really want to implore on our minority side that as you ruled, this is a house of order and you're on the next order. Madam Speaker, I look forward to that time when we are talking about the budget, when you're reading the budget for 2023-2024.
Honorable members, order, honorable members. Order, honorable Buyu. Honorable Junet, take your seat. Please take your seat, Honorable Junet. Honorable Minority Leader, please take your seat. Honorable members, I am not going to order number 12 because it has already been concluded. We are in order number 13, and I gave the opportunity to the member for Molo. Honorable member for Molo, please proceed with debate.
Madam Speaker, the issue that you're talking about, the office of leader of opposition, is even what you are facing here, Madam Speaker.
Point of order, Madam Speaker, on quorum. Point of order. Point of order, Madam Speaker. Give me the mic. Give me the mic.
Honorable members, I have a point of order from the Honorable Kagusha.
Madam Speaker, I stand on standing order number 35, and I realize we do not have quorum to conduct any business in this house. So, Madam Speaker, I beg that we suspend this debate since we have no quorum in this house. Put the question, Madam Speaker. Put the question, Madam Speaker.
Honorable members, clearly we have no quorum, and I order that the bell be rung for 10 minutes, honorable members.